All right, welcome to your next class with Ron Kustrup, and we're going to go over famous European artwork recreation. This is going to be your final summative piece, and what you're going to do is you're going to recreate a famous artwork. The way you're going to do that, and it's optional, it's just strongly suggested you approach it this way, is you're going to take a piece of paper, you're going to put it on your computer screen, and you're going to trace the image on your computer screen very lightly so as not to damage the screen. It's basically using your computer screen as a light box. If you're having issues when you try this, what you can do is turn the brightness all the way up on your computer screen. So let's go over basically some ways to approach how you can do this. So you're going to compile 5 to 10 images. I suggest you do that to get the best piece, and then pick your favorite one to recreate. Be sure to have the name of the artist and the name of the original artwork. So when you post it for digital critique, put the name of the artist and the name of the original work. Be aware that the artist must be of European origin. If it's not, it should be in some way, you should explain when you submit it in digital critique how it's related to Europeanism, as this is European art class. So that's Gothic art. So you might approach it with kind of like a slightly realistic style, or a surrealistic style, which is kind of realism and abstract combined. Again, on the left, realism. If you want to do a piece like that, you can trace that. When you begin to really try to get it to look realistic, that's going to just require shading. You're not going to be doing that during the light box tracing period. That's going to be after you take it off your screen and you're just kind of shading or coloring. And again, you should really focus on light and shadow when you're trying to make things realistic. Uh, Alternatively, you could do something like on more of on a theme, right? So if we're focused on a concept, like on the right, you can see Goya was an artist who is real into like horror, but it's a good example of theme, right? So here's an example of movement. You might be interested in relating your work to a movement, finding a famous artwork from European art history that is related to a movement, like Woman with Hat, for example, by Matisse. He was considered a Fauvist. A Fauvism, basically, they used color randomly just to kind of bring a lot of fun color into the piece. And it didn't necessarily have to do with concept like German Expressionism, um, another movement. Um, uh, it was just for the sake of aesthetics, right? So that's kind of a fun approach. You could do a piece um, similar to that, or that one itself. We have Matisse's The Red Room Prince. You can see he also was interested in patterns, right? So Van Gogh's Starry Night's great example to practice like line work and shapes. Um, if you're looking for shapes, though, Picasso in Cubism is a great way to go. I would say it's fairly easy to do, and it also comes across aesthetically very interesting. Here's some more realism. Some people are interested in that. So basically, the way you do this is, say I was doing this piece, okay, and I wanted to make it, um, I wanted to trace it, use my computer screen as a light box. I'm in PowerPoint. Google Slide would work pretty much. Many programs, probably Google Docs you could use, I'm sure. If you hold, so in some programs, when you try to make your image larger, it warps. So in that case, if a program is doing that, just hold Shift and it'll lock it in place, and you won't have that issue anymore. I'm then going to go to full screen view, and then I'm going to jump to that slide, and then what I could then do, right? What you're then going to do, and again, this is optional, but it's strongly suggested because your composition will look really nice when you try this on out. What you're going to do is you're going to tape a piece of paper to the computer screen, turn the brightness all the way up, and then very lightly trace the image, and then you take the image off the computer screen, and then you can work with color and kind of fill things in. But you basically just get your light outlines that way. It helps you a lot with building your composition. Just to help you a little bit with when you're doing that, some tips are keep in mind a palette, right? So here's a piece by Hokusai, and So he's not a European artist, but he has good examples of color palette. Like you can see, for example, the colors on the bottom basically make up the entire composition. So he did a very good job of using compositional balance with his colors, like light blue on the left and light blue on the right. This is a piece by Van Gogh. Great use of color, great compositional balance. Remember, if you're you're working in black and white, just make sure your shading is balanced. If you're working in color, just try to put color as balanced as you can. Say you're working with paint. Say you're lucky enough to have paint. What you can do is you can mix different yellows, like in this example, and then create compositional balance with even one color. Here's just more examples. This is a good example of Cubism by Picasso. The piece is called Guernica. It's about a war. You see the horse running that person over and all the terrors of war. Again, realism. I think consider negative space. It'll help. It'll help. Negative space will help you make your work look nice. Again, full screen. Say I wanted to do a piece right now. I could get a piece of paper, tape it to my screen, trace this sunflower, uh, and then I can color it. Okay, and then submit, and that's the project.